In this module, I'm going to teach you, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important skill sets you can have as a real estate investor. By the end of this section, you're going to feel empowered that money to buy real estate deals should never be a challenge. What you're going to learn here is skills and strategies that we use to raise funding for all of our real estate deals. Let's take a look. As we go through this section, you're going to feel confident there are plenty of resources out there to get many real estate deals. You're also going to understand the benefits of being a private money lender and why anybody would want to lend their hard-earned money to us for real estate deals. I'm also going to teach you the fundamentals on how to raise private money. And lo and behold, you're going to get a script that helps you have these conversations, especially while you're first getting started. Before we get started, I want to share with you a case study that we have done on a deal here in just outside of Toledo, Ohio, that we did a few years back. This is the reality of what we buy. So this is an investment opportunity that came across our plate. It was absolutely a hoarder house. The guy had some challenges going on in life, and his house had just gotten to be absolutely in pretty, I'd say, rough shape. Look at all the stuff. All the stuff's just piled up. You could tell that there were some rough living conditions. And the story behind this one is the gentleman was a landlord, and the tenant had some challenges going on and just let the house go and quit paying the guy. Well, what happened was over time, it took forever to get him evicted. And when he got him evicted, this is what he had. We purchased this property, and from there, it ended up looking like this. Now you'll see all the systems and processes that you're learning going through this program. This is our rehab system. This is what our properties look like every time we get finished with them. The only thing that might change periodically is we may or may not put a backsplash in the kitchen, but other than that, this is our rehab model. This is all of our projects look like. So I'm sure everybody would love to see the numbers on this and the value that we were able to create by taking this house, turning it into this house. Well, let's take a look at the numbers. So this one came through we were text messaging landlords, absentee owners, which you learned about in your marketing segment. That's all people that own property that don't live in the property. We fund this off of using a private money lender, which is you're going to learn about in this module, with a purchase price of $75,000. So we purchased it for 75, and the rehab costs were just over 83,000, and we were all in this bad boy for 164 grand, and we sold it for 250. So at the end of the day, after all of our expenses, realtor costs, and everything that went along with it, we profited about 69, almost 60, almost 60, almost $70,000 that I'm getting ready to teach you. Profit without this skill of being able to raise funds for this deal. This is all bought with private money lending. We wouldn't have been able to make almost $70,000, right? So this is a very important, valuable skill. So everybody buckle up. We're getting ready to get started. First off, we need to understand the difference here on why the difference between working with a bank as a lender and then working with a private lender as a lender and what the difference is. See, picture and imagine this. You have $100,000 in the bank. The bank is paying you 1% interest on your money that's sitting in the bank. That's going to earn you $1,000 a year. If the bank is really paying you a 1% interest rate to begin with, which quite often and it's a lot less than that. You'd have to double check on what your savings account's paying you, but $1,000 ROI is pretty good for a bank to pay you on your money. So we're looking at this through the lens of somebody that has capital sitting in the bank. So 1% interest, not very good. Okay. Now let's look at this. Let's look at the stock market as an investment opportunity. What is the stock market? Is it secured? Absolutely not. It's unsecured, right? Is there anything protecting my money when I put the stock market in? If the stock market takes a dip or takes a setback, is there anything protecting my money? Do I get that back? No. You ride it with the ups and downs in the stock market. Is it insured? Absolutely not. It's not insured. If you put money in and for some odd reason the market takes a turn, again, there's nothing insuring your money if you lose it. If the market takes a shift, it goes up, you earn. If it goes down, you lose. That's just the way it works. How do we buy through a stock market? So a lot of us work with a financial advisor that will make recommendations and make purchases and offer us opportunities to buy and sell. Are we buying them at market price? Sometimes not. Sometimes we wait for what's called a dip, and then they'll make recommendations for us to buy at the dip. Are returns predictable? Absolutely not. So what happens is when you're investing in the stock market, they have projections, which means they project that over this amount of time there will be either an increase or a decrease in your money. They can't make guarantees. They can't make certainties. But what they do is they make projections. So again, we're focusing on all this as investment opportunities. Where's a good place to invest? Now, as a private money lender, take that same $100,000 that you put in the bank and take that same $100,000 you put in the bank and pay a 10% interest rate on that over 12 months. Now that is a $10,000 return on investment. So if I'm offering someone a 10% return on their money backed by real estate, is that more attractive than a 1% interest rate sitting in a bank, uh, uh, making a over a 12-month term, making $1,000 ROI? See, a return on investment, it's 10 times over what your savings account gets, only it's backed by real estate. So that's one thing we're looking at as a private money lender, because a lot of us sit back and wonder, why would anybody lend to me, right? They're not necessarily lending to you, they're lending to the deal, because the deal, as you can see here, is backed by real estate, right? It's not a piece of paper, it's not a number on a computer screen. It's actually a house with a value that you can touch, you can see, it's a tangible asset. The only difference is with secured private lending, the asset is protected, or the money is protected. It's backed by a tangible asset. It's a hard thing. You can touch it, see it, feel it. The collateral, the house, is fully insured. We'll talk, which means if we agree to a 10% interest rate, it's a 10% interest rate. If the market turns, it doesn't go down to 9 or up to 12. If you agree to a 10% interest rate, that's what it is a 10% interest rate. That's fixed. Now, how do we do it? So the key is we're not asking people to borrow money, right? We're not asking people to loan us our deal. So listen to picture this. What sounds better? If I come to someone and I say, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, I'd like to borrow some money to flip a house. Would you be interested? Does that sound more attractive? Or does it sound more attractive to say, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, how's your money working that little spin and how you relate your communication to these people is a totally different ball game than borrowing money. See, we're not borrowing money. We are offering an opportunity for someone to make money through our business. So we're offering people an opportunity to improve their financial position through our business, not us borrowing money. So how do we do that? 8 to 12% interest rates has always been good for us. Now, keep in mind, if you're working with someone that's getting a fix, because regardless of what you give them, it's a heck of a lot more than 1% in their savings account. We are always going to have them in a first lien position. Uh, I don't recommend, again, I'm not a financial advisor or an attorney, but I don't recommend having more than 2 lenders per deal. One will be in the first lien position if necessary, and the second will be in a second lien position. And what that means is if there's a deal, for example, you have a $150,000 purchase and you have one lender that's good for 100,000 and you have another lender that's good for 50,000. That would be a first and second lien position. Then we set our terms. Now, what are our terms? 6 to 12 month terms. The term annualized means 12 months. So when you set your terms for 12 months, that's an annualized rate of return. And what that means is if you take a 10% interest rate, right? You take that full 10% over 12 months and then divide it by 365. That's how much money they're going to make per day for their money. So if you have a $100,000 loan over a 10% interest rate over a year, that's a $10,000 return on investment over a year. How much do you make per day? Take that $10,000 and divide it by 365. That's how they get their pay. So if you have your house for 6 months, they would make $5,000. If you have your house for if you have the house for 12 months, they would make $10,000. That's how we narrow that down. And then we have the key documents recorded. So what does that mean? We have to put the proper paperwork in place to protect the lender's money and protect our business opportunities as we're going through the rehab process. The key takeaway from this whole part of this section right here is we don't ask for money. We offer people opportunities to do business with us. That's the key takeaway for this whole section, this whole slide deck here. What paperwork do we use to protect us? We use a mortgage, we put insurance on the property, and we use a promissory note. Now, if you think big picture, how many of us have actually bought a house before? If you've bought a house before, you probably sat down at a bank and you filled out a bunch of paperwork at the end of the deal, right? Now, it's the same concept. You didn't do anything different, only at the bank, you filled out a lot more paperwork, right? You filled out the mortgage, you have insurance. The first thing they had you do was get home insurance on the property before you could close on the deal. Same concept here. And then you have a promissory note promising to pay back the money if something goes sideways in life. You're going to pay back the note, right? It's the note between you and the bank, you and the lender, that you are responsible to pay that back. And nothing, that house cannot be sold or traded, any of that, until the financial um, the financial responsibilities paid off between that lender. This is no different. Mortgage, hazard insurance, and promissory note. And we'll talk more about this as we go through this entire lesson. So I'll tell you what, let's take 2 minutes right now and think to yourself before we go down any farther. Think to yourself, what's two people that you can offer the opportunity to work with you within your business? Now, remember, we're not asking people to borrow money. We are thinking about who we can offer the opportunity to do work with us in our business. Take 2 minutes and write those down before we go on any farther. And stop. Okay. Now, take that list that you just created line of where we're going to get started as we go through this entire section. For now, let's think to ourselves, where can these lenders, where can these people get funds to lend to you for your real estate business, right? First, the obvious is cash in the bank. A lot of people, more people than you would believe, have money put away in the bank that's not doing anything for them. Now, one thing I want you to remember when we start talking about this is never prejudge anybody. Our first lenders came from people that we would have never suspected had money put away in the bank. So never prejudge anybody. Always offer everybody the opportunities and focus on just talking to more people. We're going to keep hammering that. It's all about talking to people. A home equity line of credit is a great resource. So our first real estate deal that we ever did was using our home equity line of credit. So when we first got started, I didn't think I knew anybody that had money, but what I did know, one of my coaches taught me about a home equity line. So my partner and I, he had a house and I had a house. We both went out and put equity lines on our houses, and we used that money to do our first real estate deal. That's how that worked. Now, the key is using your home equity line of credit for productivity rather than buying liabilities. And what that means is you'll see banks, you'll see TV commercials, you'll see all these things marketing, get a home equity line of credit to go take a vacation, to buy a car, to do all these things. That's not the right way to use your home equity line of credit, in my opinion. The right way to use your home equity line of credit is to take that money and go use it to do things to make more money and pay back your equity line and then keep building that way, right? So home equity lines of credit are a great resource. And what happens is if you can offer, say, a 12% return on somebody's money backed by real estate that they're borrowing on their house on a home equity line, say they're borrowing at 6% and you're turning around and they're loaning it to you on 12%, that's a win. So you just paid back a 6% return on money they were never using before. It was just sitting in their equity of their house. So that is a great resource. When you can pay someone 12% return, excuse me, it'll be a positive 6% return backed by real estate on money they were not using to do anything. That is a great resource. Personal lines or business lines of credit. There's a lot of business owners and people that have credit lines with banks, again, where they can borrow it at a lower interest rate, maybe 5 or 6%, and then turn around and lend it to you for your real estate deals at a 10 to 12% return. So what you're doing is you're creating infinite return on people's money. Uh, Liquid securities and investments. What this is you're going to come across, now that you're networking with other investors and you're building a real estate investing business, you're going to come across many people over time that are going the other direction. They're getting out of the business. They're selling off their assets. They're liquidating. They're retiring. Well, what happens is these people still want to be in the game. They still want to make money off of their money. Well, they'd rather lend to people like us that are in the same industry as them rather than selling off their assets and just putting them in a retirement account or putting money in the bank. So people that are liquidating their deals or liquidating their businesses or another great resource. Self-directed retirement accounts. This would be a great resource for you to connect with people that have self-directed IRAs. And what they can do is they can borrow against that IRA, invest in your real estate deals, get paid back after your real estate deal closes, and from there they can build up their retirement account through your business, tax deferred, until they're ready to use that money. Again, for more on that, find out what their self-directed IRA is being used for. Connect with the custodian that's handling that, and that becomes a great resource for them to use you as an investment strategy rather than the stock market or some of these other ways. All right, how do we do it? Okay, you will see in the resources tab, you will see a private money lender information sheet. You're going to fill out the private money lender information sheet as you connect with different people that want to lend in your deals. What you're looking to find out is how much are they looking to invest? What is their rate of return they're looking for? What is their timeline that they're looking to have their money back? What is their initial or their big vision goal? Are they looking long-term investments? Are they looking for more short-term investments? The information sheet will spell all this out for you. That way, as deals come across your plate through your marketing strategy, you can put together the deal, send it out to your team of lenders, and let them pick and choose on who wants to get the deal. From there, we're going to secure the loan amount, the loan commitment amount. So if you find someone that wants to invest, $100, $200, $300,000, the price point of the deals that you're looking for need to be within the amount of money that you're able to raise from your lenders, right? So if you have a lender for 100 grand and you have another lender for 200 grand, you want to try to keep their money busy by focusing on the deals that satisfy their appetite for lending. See, what happens is as you start doing real estate deals, it goes from where am I going to find money to do real estate deals, the thought of that, and then it turns into, oh my goodness, I need to keep these people's money busy. So it goes from where am I going to get the money to I got to keep their money busy. I have too much money, because once you give somebody one good experience, it just grows from there. Next step is you're going to send out the investment summary with the next project. So next time you get a lead come across your plate that wants to, or that is a perfect fit for a private money lender, you're just going to take the deal analyzer, the deal analyzer spreadsheet, and you are going to send that out to your lenders and let them decide if they're ready to move forward with your deal. And there's strategies to all this you're going to learn as we go through this entire section on how you share the opportunity with lenders. How do you have that conversation? We're going to go through all that next. So fundamentally, what does it look like? Very important slide right here. So you got your private money lender at the top. Okay. How does it work? We send the investment opportunity to our private money lender. From there, the private money lender agrees and wires the funds. Always, this is very important, always wires the funds to the title company. You are never going to get you're never going to get money put in your hand from a private money lender. The money is always going to get wired to the title company and dispersed by them. Okay. So the money is wired to the title company from the lender. Then we buy the house. We buy the house, and you can see in the next slide, we fix the house up, or in the next picture, we fix the house up. What happens from there? We're either going to keep the house and refinance it, or we're going to sell it. In this situation, we're going to put it on the market and we're going to sell it. When the house sells, it's the exact same structure as it was on the front end of the deal, only now there's another buyer rather than you being the buyer. So when the buyer decides to buy the house, their funds now are going to be wired to the title company. The title company is going to put together all the paperwork on the back end, and then they're going to disperse the funds to you and your lender. So what happens is the money comes in from the buyer. The title company will take out what is owed to the lender, to private money lender, pay them off, and you're going to get what's left. See, the key to all this is understanding that us as real estate investors, we are always the last ones to get paid in every transaction. Your contractors are going to get paid. Your realtors are going to get paid. Lenders are going to get paid. Everybody's going to get paid. We are the last person in the entire sequence to get paid. That way you're protected. This is why all the paperwork's in place, because once they do a payoff to your lender, then it's time to reset, go find your next deal, and put their money back to work again. So how do we share this with a private money lender? How do we talk about the features and benefits that why they would want to work with us in the first place? Let's take a look at that. So the benefit of working with us as real estate investors and working with you as a rehabber, buy and hold investor, whatever your niche is you have invested in your education. Right now, watching this video, you are educating yourself on how to work with private money lenders. That alone separates you from the majority of your competition. You operate through systems and processes that keep your money and your business safe because it's very repetitive. Everything you do is duplicated over and over and over again, like a project or like a product going down the assembly line. You have built your business like a franchise. So it's a very safe opportunity for people to invest with you, and your experience and your network investors is second to none. Just this network of investors that you're connected to now alone have got thousands and thousands of real estate transactions under their belts. Now it's just time for you to build that same history over and over and over again by duplicating everything that we've already done. The goal here is to build long-term relationships with your lenders. So just keep in mind, guys, it doesn't take a whole lot of people to raise capital. I think I can count on one hand how many times I've worked with private money lenders over the years, or I'm sorry, how many different private money lenders I've worked with over the years. We only have maybe 5 that I would consistently go to, and that's over 15 years. So that's not like you have to have a whole army, a whole team of lenders. You're going to build relationships, and these are looking to build long-term valuable relationships over time. Because once you give a good experience to somebody through your business of a real estate transaction, they want that over and over and over and over again, and then it just consistently grows from there. You are able to share how you are buying properties anywhere from 30 to 50 to 60% below market value, right? That is why we are a safe real estate or a safe investment opportunity for investors, is because we are able to go to someone and say, hey, listen, I'm buying this house. It's worth $200,000. I'm buying it for 90 or 100. You're buying a great investment opportunity. Why would they not want to fund that and let their money grow as well? We're able to prove that. We're also able to give predictable returns for long-term growth. So we're able to tell people, listen, we're going to pay you a 10% return on your money backed by real estate. That's predictable. It's not going to change. We talked about that. It's all concrete. It's all documented. It's going to be a 10% return based on what you decide with your lender. And from there, it doesn't get any bigger. It doesn't get any less. Every single deal is predictable. And yeah, it doesn't change. It's predictable returns. It doesn't change. And the bottom line is it's secured by an asset. So again, why is this so attractive to lenders? Is because this investment opportunity is backed by a thing. It's not backed off a prediction or some big opportunity where some big company that's a car, whatever other big investment opportunities the stock market uses. Those are all predictions. Those are all graphs and charts on a computer screen. You are going to your lenders and you're sharing with them, I have a house that I'm buying at 50% of value. I would like to help your money grow by investing in my opportunity. How does that sound to you? Right? That is the bottom line. Now, how do we have those conversations? The most important piece is to understand how to talk, how to conversate with these people, because this is all new to us, right? When we're looking to work with money, somebody else's money at that, it's all new to us. We're not used to going out and asking people to raise capital for real estate deals. So would it be helpful if I shared with you a private money lender elevator pitch? What is an elevator pitch? Let's see. This right here, you'll have this in your resource tab. This is a foundation on how to get started talking to private money lenders. Let's go through it. It would sound like this. Hi, my name is Rick with Howell Properties. We are a local residential redevelopment company that specializes in renovating distressed properties and helping people in our community who are in distressed situations. The safety of our business model is the extensive education that we have invested in and the proven systems that we buy, renovate, and sell our homes. Our goal is to do 20 deals this year. Our goal is to do 20 properties this year. We're very proud of the fact that we can offer a healthy rate of return to our lenders. We love building long-term relationships and giving them a predictable way to grow their wealth. If you're interested in learning more about how you can benefit from our program, I can take you to lunch or dinner, my treat, and discuss our lending opportunities in more detail. This way we can see if it would be a good fit for both of us. I also have an information package that you can look over in the meantime. How does that sound? So there's a good two key takeaways I want you to take from this elevator pitch right here. Number one is we are a residential redevelopment company. We are not house flippers. Understand that. Going up to someone trying to raise capital, talking to them about your house flipping business is not attractive. You are residential redevelopers. Why is that? Because our job is to improve our local market one house at a time. That's the goal. If you go up to someone and you're talking about flipping a house and you need money to do it, it's not going to go as well. There's a difference. This is not something, there's two different ways to show up. When we show up at a meeting, we either show up as a pro or an amateur, right? This is how you show up as a professional. You show up at a meeting looking to flip a house and borrow money from someone, amateur, not going to go well, right? We practice this. We get reps so that when you show up, you're prepared as a professional. This is a professional tool. Take a screenshot, download it from the resources tab, and utilize this over and over and over and over again. Pretty soon, it will mold into the way you speak, the way you talk. Make it your own, and get out and start talking to many people as humanly possible. The next tool that you're going to want to use as the out of the resources tab is your private money lender credibility packet. This is one of the most important things, in my opinion, in your entire business. Now, I shared a copy of ours, and what your job is to do is to take a look at ours, download it, edit it, plugging in your information for your business to make it yours. And remember, over time, you're not expected to have a bunch of deals under your belt. Right now, you're leveraging your networks deals. You're leveraging the fact that you've invested in your education, and you're leveraging in the fact that you are a residential redevelopment company looking to improve your area one house at a time. That's how this is going to work. And over time, the one that I'm going to share with you is 15 years of business growth over time. Yours is going to start off a lot thinner, a lot more basic. And then every time you do a deal, you're going to add to it, just like you'll see in ours. Every time you do a deal, you're going to add it to your credibility packet. And then over time, your credibility packet's going to grow. And here's how you use it. So when you talk to someone at a meeting or a networking event, and you are talking about private money lending, it would just go something like this. I would say, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, they say, what do you do? I say, well, I show people how to make double-digit returns on their money backed by real estate. That's how you initiate the conversation, right? And then it rolls into your script that we just talked about. When they say, really, tell me more about that, it rolls into your script that we just talked about. And at the end, the goal is to forward them your private money lender credibility packet, let them look through it, and then set a time to follow up with them to answer any questions they might have. This spot right here is one position where I see a lot of investors, they might struggle a little bit because they try to explain too much. You don't have to explain all the ins and outs of private money lending and 10% returns and backed by real estate, all that stuff. Your job isn't to explain get caught in the weeds. Your job is to pique their interest, pass them some information, and then set a follow-up to answer any questions they might have. And the reason I say that is because you are just getting started. You're not going to have all the answers at the beginning. Your coaches will, your credibility packet will, but you don't want to get stuck in a position where you don't quite know the answer. It's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing where to get all the right answers from, right? So that's what we want to do. So this is how you separate yourself from being a professional as an amateur, is to have your scripts in line, know how to communicate with different lenders. And number two is having your private money lender credibility packet set up to where you then have something to share with your potential lender and answer any questions they might have. This has been the intro for the funding your deals section. Now let's get started.